You know, when you think about building an empire of trust, you probably don't think about splitting an atom, right? Well, for Dr. Suresh Haware, that's exactly where it all started. We're going to explore the incredible story of how a nuclear scientist took the rules from a high-tech lab and used them to build a city.
So let's just get right to it. How on earth does a nuclear scientist become a super successful real estate builder? I mean, that sounds like a massive, almost impossible career jump. But what if I told you that leap from a super sterile, high-tech lab to a muddy, chaotic construction site wasn't really a leap at all?
Yeah, this whole thing is really a story about translation. It's about how the strict discipline of science got translated into solving very real, very human problems. And that process, well, that's what built an entire empire, one that was founded on a single, incredibly powerful idea: trust.
Okay, Section 1, the foundation, the scientist, forging the tools of discipline and vision at BARC. Look, to really get the builder, we have to go back in time and meet the scientist, because his journey didn't start with blueprints and concrete. Nope, it started inside one of India's most prestigious and demanding scientific institutions.
More than 18 years. Think about that for a second. That's a long time. That's how long Dr. Haware spent at the Bhabha Atomic Research Centre, or BARC. And this wasn't just a 9-to-5 job, you know? It was the place where his single most powerful tool was forged, what we're going to call the scientific mindset.
So what exactly is this scientific mindset? Well, it's really built on 4 key pillars. First, a really deep technical understanding of complex systems. Second, an almost obsessive adherence to quality regulations and high standards. Third, methodical, step-by-step project management. And finally, discipline and teamwork as the absolute foundation. Now you take that formula and drop it into the messy, often unpredictable world of construction, and you've got yourself a secret weapon.
All right, Section 2, the application, the builder, applying scientific principles to solve real-world problems. So what happens when you take this incredibly precise scientific way of thinking and just throw it into the wild world of 1990s real estate? Dr. Haware looked around and saw an industry that was just riddled with delays and distrust. And he had this aha moment. He realized he already had the tools to fix it.
See, he wasn't just interested in building houses. He wanted to build an entirely new system. So he created what people started calling the Haware pattern. It was a business model that boiled down to 3 simple but at the time totally revolutionary promises. And these promises directly addressed the biggest fears every single home buyer had. And here's where you can really see the difference. The traditional construction industry, it was basically a mess of project delays, a ton of distrust and ambiguity, and constant compromises on quality. The Haware pattern, it was the exact opposite. On-time delivery, total transparency, and quality-controlled construction. He was literally injecting the certainty of a science lab into an industry that had almost none.
He basically said, I'm implementing the quality structures from BARC here. And that was it. That was his unique selling proposition. It was so simple but so powerful. He was taking the precision of a nuclear research lab and applying it to a regular construction site. We're talking rigorous material testing, methodical quality checks, standardized processes, all stuff that was totally normal at BARC, but absolutely radical in the world of real estate back then.
Okay, let's move on to Section 3, the legacy, the leader, a commitment to social responsibility and public service. Because his impact, it didn't just stop with his business. Being a problem solver at his core, he took those same principles of management, of ethics, and applied them to public life. He stepped into roles that required a huge amount of integrity and serious organizational skills.
And this philosophy, it definitely extended beyond just business. A perfect example is when he became the chairman of the Shardi Trust. Now, if you don't know, this is one of the most revered and most visited pilgrimage sites on the entire planet. He took on the absolutely monumental task of managing this massive organization that serves millions upon millions of devotees every single year.
So what was his approach? You guessed it, he applied the Haware pattern all over again. He improved cleanliness and created better crowd management systems. He brought in digitization for more administrative transparency. He focused on upgrading the facilities for the millions of devotees. And he even launched social initiatives for local education and health. He didn't just manage the place, he literally engineered a better experience for everyone.
You can really boil his whole leadership style down to these core values. The discipline, that came straight from his scientific training. It's what fueled his focus on timelines and process control. The ethics, that was pure personal conviction, which led to financial transparency and trust. The vision, That's the entrepreneur in him, building a brand for the long term. And that sense of social responsibility was just a core part of his philosophy, driving him towards affordable housing and public service. It's this really powerful mix of methodical thinking and big, ambitious goals.
So what are the big takeaways from Dr. Haware's incredible journey? What can we learn from all this? First, your skills are way more transferable than you think. A scientific mindset can literally build an empire. Second, trust is the best brand you can possibly have. It's built by delivering on quality and on time, always. Third, real success has to include social responsibility. And finally, you can use adversity to innovate and find better ways of doing things.
And all of this kind of leaves us with one final big question. How can you apply the unique skills from your field to solve a problem in a completely new one? I mean, think about it. Dr. Haware took his expertise and basically repurposed it to completely revolutionize an industry. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What untapped potential is hiding in your skill set, just waiting to be unleashed on a completely different problem?